This video is sponsored by Digital. Digital is a creator tokenizing art and music into NFTs. Check out his website at danky.art. And don't forget to sign up to his newsletter to keep up to date with everything he's creating. Thanks for the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, Jon Jordan. This is the YouTube channel all about blockchain games, so if you're into that, please do subscribe. In this video, I'm going to have a quick look at some data around AXIE INFINITY. And it's kind of detailed, but I think it's kind of important to kind of understand some of these things, and particularly how AXIE INFINITY has kind of reset what was going on in its game at the start of 2020, and now that's something that we're kind of seeing it reaping the rewards of as the year comes to an end, and there's lots of kind of focus on the price of AXIEs. So we've just hit a high of 200 ETH for an AXIE. They've just announced their governance token, and loads of kind of cool stuff is happening. But to get to that point, it had to kind of rethink what it was doing, and this is what this graph kind of shows. So I should say this data is from DappRadar. So we can see here there are three main components. So there is the price of the Small Love Potion. That's an ERC20 token. AXIE INFINITY runs on the Ethereum blockchain. So this was a token that was created in 2020. You can see when it launched early in the year, and the price, you can see, has seen a lot of volatility. So not a lot happened for a while. It launched and then the price went down, and then there was a massive spike. And since then, as you can see, the price is much higher than it was before the big spike happened. But the price isn't going up. The price is kind of going through these speculative kind of boom and bust, not bust, but these kind of boom cycles. And this is kind of what's now a component to what's going on in the game. But before then, we can kind of see here. So in yellow here, this is the daily number of AXIEs that were being born. So AXIE INFINITY came out of the Crypto Kitties community. So the guys behind it were really into Crypto Kitties, but then quite quickly they realised, there's only so much you could do. You can only breed the Crypto Kitties. You couldn't do anything in terms of a game. There was a collecting aspect. You could collect these new fancy cats as they became available, but you couldn't do anything with them. So they thought, this is really cool. How can we make it better? And one of the things they came up with was they wanted to have this breeding mechanic, but also they wanted to battle them. And then obviously they've gone on to do things like have land sales, and think about kind of more permanent kind of MMO sort of kind of game design. But the one thing they were very clear on when AXIE launched was it didn't want to have this thing with, as we see with Crypto Kitties, where basically with Crypto Kitties you can just breed. You can breed any cats you want to together, and you just pay the gas fee. And now we have about 2 million Crypto Kitties have been bred, and most of those are not very useful, because the point of breeding these Crypto Kitties together is you want to get these very rare, or these fairly rare breeds, and you have to keep breeding together until you kind of randomly get the genetic connection that you want. And I think the AXIE people kind of thought that was, in a sense, that was not helpful for the long-term value of these assets. So when they set up AXIE, they very seriously thought about how you kind of limited this breeding, because breeding was part of it. But as we can see here, the game kind of launched in 2018, and we see some kind of breeding, then the breeding goes down, and then breeding kind of level rises in 2019. Actually, you can see here, there's a big drop-off here. This is the first time we get high gas fees on Ethereum in September 2019. And then we see some very, very high levels of breeding. So we're having thousands of AXIEs being bred every day, and there was still a kind of gating mechanic in there. So you had to battle your AXIEs, and that got them kind of breeding XP. So you couldn't just breed them as in Crypto Kitties. You had to battle your AXIEs together, and as you battled them together, they gained more of this kind of breeding XP. And then when they got to a certain level, you could then breed them. So there was a kind of gating mechanic in there, but as we can see, it kind of its effectiveness kind of decreased over time. So what they thought of doing was they were going to effectively replace what was this kind of XP breeding XP mechanic with the Small Love Potion. So this is kind of what happened. So the Small Love Potion is something you win during battles, and then you need it to breed. and the more you breed, the more you need. And also the nice thing about the small off potion was because it's an ERC20 token, people can, if they don't want it, they can sell it on an exchange like Uniswap, and people who want it can buy it. So it provides this kind of play to earn mechanic, which some people are doing. They don't want to breed Axies, they just want to earn this currency and then sell it off, and then people who do want to breed them can then buy it off them. So it becomes this kind of economic loop you have. And we can see obviously when it kind of worked. so as soon as the small off potion kind of came in, we can see that the breeding of Axies just collapsed, went from getting on for 3,000 a day to under 100 or 200 sort of thing, and that's really where it's been for most of 2020. We can see from kind of end of September it has increased, so it's getting back up to kind of 600, 700, 800, but that's being driven because people are really into this game now, and basically the thing that Axie wanted to do, which was not have the price of Axies drop to effectively to zero, which is kind of what happened with crypto kitties. That's actually happened in AXIE Infinity, that the price of crypto, the price of Axies has actually gone up. So demand is outstripping supply. So an Axie now probably costs you about, the cheapest Axie costs you about $20, and that's up from a few dollars not that long ago. So what else do we have here? So the other thing we're looking at here is created auctions. So there's obviously you can look at there's different marketplaces, but the majority of activity on AXIE Infinity happens in the primary AXIE Infinity marketplace. So there's a marketplace built into the game, and that's where most of the trading happens. And we can see here that there was the kind of trading was in 2019. Trading went up and down, but there wasn't any great trend apart from in September when the gas prices were too expensive and people stopped trading. Then we see a big kind of the biggest spike up to that point happened around here, which is basically when you couldn't breed Axies anymore. Because the mechanic was changed and needed a small off potion, which wasn't out at that point. So then people started. There was a lot of trading going on there. The day after, we get a spike of 900 auctions created. So obviously not all those auctions are being fulfilled, but this kind of shows what's going on. People are breeding as much as they can, then immediately sticking them on auction, and we can see that the level of auctions was higher. For the first bit of 2020, which again is what you want to see, because basically what you're doing here is you're creating a peer-to-peer marketplace. So it's other players selling these Axies, and that's what blockchain games need to do. They want to be having a strong marketplace-driven economy where players are trading with each other, and the money is going between players, because that's then building a very strong economic foundation for other things you might want to do in the game. We kind of see as 2020 goes on and the gas prices get really high in May, so we see that this drops down a lot because gas prices are too expensive to breed even $20 Axies. But then we see this is the big spike that kind of changes a lot of things. So the small off potion basically is just some people just whack the price up. So it went from I think about 3,000ths of a. It was going to tell me. It basically goes down to about 3,000ths of a cent. Sorry, I think it's about that. Yeah, 4,000ths of a cent, US cent, up to about, I think at one point it was like it was 15 cents. So a massive increase there. Obviously it drops away straight away again, but even here it's up one, so it's up, that's up do the maths. so even there it's gone up multiple fold there. Is it 50 times, something like that? Not quite 50 times, but then it goes up again, and there it's gone. Yeah, can't work out the maths. 100, it's got over 100 fold, and it's almost like 200, 150 fold there or something like that. So basically the price here, which is probably a good bit hard to pick up, is there. So we're up, all kind of 50 times. Even now the price is kind of dropping down. The price of the smaller potion is up 50 times, and that has been kind of part of this resurgence of Axie over the last month, really. It's not just been driven by that. It's been driven by lots of other speculation around what's going on in I think in DeFi and Ethereum games in particular. But we've now seen this, and also that's kind of driven the NFT prices. So we've started to see the most rare mystic Axies get very expensive. So we saw a big kind of lots of headlines in the end of September when the first there were some of the most rare axes, four Mystic part axes, sold for 150 ETH each. And an investment fund came in and bought $160,000 worth of axes. They bought 4 axes, and then since then we've had someone else come in and buy 3 Mystic axes for 200 ETH. So they were less rare ones, and they've gone for more than the 4 part Mystics. So we see a lot of price velocity in the AXIE community at the moment, and that's been kind of reflected in these very high spikes of auctions. So we're seeing 1,500 auctions created in a day. Obviously, again, not all of these are being fulfilled, but we're seeing that there's lots of supply being added to the system, and this is reflected in AXIE births. So the births of AXIEs are going up. This is, I think, partly happening because the small life potion value is going down. So when the price of the small life potion goes up, then it's very hard to do any breeding, because for a lot of the AXIEs you need quite a lot of small life potion in order to do the breeding. So there's an inverse impact on the price of the potion to the amount of breeding, and as it drops down to a certain level, and there's all this activity that you can sell, and the price of AXIEs is going up, then that drives this price up again. So it is a kind of interesting mechanic. The main headline here is to show what happens when a blockchain games company does make a significant feature change to its game. A bit risky in a sense to stop what people are doing, but actually what's happened is they have managed to encapsulate a kind of key aspect of the game within the game economy now by having this token. So the small life potion is definitely a success in terms of being a utility token that is useful in the game, even though there's been these speculative bubbles around it, which has nothing to do with the game, just to do with other people doing silly things. but we can see how it has captured value, and that in turn has driven value back into the economy, and people who are making money then prepared to spend more money, invest more, and that drives everything, and hopefully makes the whole economy good for people who've been playing for a long time, and people who are entering the market now. So a bit of a complex graph, but this is the kind of thing, if you're thinking about blockchain games, you need to be thinking about, and this is the sort of thing that as people commenting on blockchain games, we need, this is all public data, it's all running on Ethereum blockchain, so we need to look at this public data and kind of draw conclusions from that. So thanks for watching the video. As I say, this is Blockchain Gaming World, trying to make sense of blockchain games, sometimes more successfully than others. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that, but thanks for watching this video, and hope to see you again soon.